Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today on this ongoing virtual Lunch and Learn. Keep on doing these every Tuesday for you guys at 11 o'clock. Choose new subjects every week, and we'll keep on going as long as I can get some people to sign up and that are interested in it. I have chosen today's topic as RPR. It's a kind of a little known resource in Paragon that you guys have full access to by being Realtor members. So no additional charge, nothing like that. It really, they define it as, tell more than the listing. It combines a lot of different data from, neighborhoods, the cities, all of this other data, and it combines it into one place to where you can, use it as an addition to Paragon. So comparables, CMAs, that's a really big use for it. Some of you guys may have used the CMA program in Paragon, and let's face it, it can be cumbersome. It could be kind of glitchy at times. They haven't spent much time on it. So we try to give you guys other tools to do that CMA, and RPR is one of those. I've shown Realist as being another one. So you guys can kind of use all of these together, and I want to make sure you guys know that you have these available to you within your MLS. So let's go ahead and get started. You can see I'm on the home page of Paragon. So where you can go to get to RPR is just kind of scroll down a little bit, and you'll see on this left-hand menu over to the left, it's this maroon sidebar. If you scroll down, all of our integrations are here. And then the third one down, fourth one down is going to be RPR. If you guys want additional learning material, you guys can click on this Learn to Use RPR, and it will take you to this quick little video here, 5-minute video, and then it also has handouts and other little videos here that you guys can look at. So if I don't do a good job explaining it today, I'm going to be only getting about 30 minutes. So this is pretty good resource for you guys to have in your back pocket when you're using RPR. And I may not be available, or you guys want to learn on your own. So learn to use RPR. You also have a blog and a help desk, so if you need to talk to somebody about it, you guys can go ahead and reach out to them on their RPR site. New account login, that's where we're going to go. Okay, so homepage, scroll down a little bit, you'll see new account login. Go ahead and click on that bad boy right there, and you'll get this page. If you guys have not set up your RPR account yet, you're going to want to. Down at the bottom, it says create new account. So if I click on that, create new account, what it's going to ask you for is your nerd's last name. So put in whatever the association has for your last name, put it there, and then you can either do your nerd's ID or your email address. And again, it's going to be your email address that you have set up with us and your association. If they're different, go with the one that you use for your association. The one other thing that they're going to ask you for is your MLS ID. We have access to this. You guys cannot find that in your account on Paragon. So if you do not have your MLS ID, reach out to us. We can provide that for you. Either give us a call or send us an email, and we'll be sure to get back to you on that. So those are the three things: your MLS ID, your nerd's last name, and then your email or nerd's ID. Okay, so it's going to be pretty simple after you do that. There is going to have to verify that you are a Realtor member. So that's how they give you access to this at no additional cost. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in my little demo account. I'm, of course, not a Realtor, so I just have this staff account here. So I log in using my email, my password that I create after I log in, and you're going to get to the homepage of RPR. So it's very basic on the homepage. You have a search box up at the top. You have a couple of different menu options here. So you guys can go through all these. I just don't have time to really go through every menu option here. But I want to show you some of the meat, some of the main things on RPR. It's really just like you're searching the MLS. So all of the listings are integrated from Paragon over to RPR. So you're going to be able to see all of those listings in here. So we're just going to run a quick search. I'm going to show you guys what the search looks like and what you can do. Up at the very top, well, I guess not in the very top, but kind of towards the top middle, you're going to see your little property search. So you can look for sale, you can look for all properties, leased, You guys can check out neighborhoods, schools, and the market activity. So very basic search here. You're just going to put in, if you know a specific zip code or address or county, you guys can put that in right here. And then you can do a price range and beds and baths. You guys can definitely do an advanced search on this, and it's a little bit over to the right of the little magnifying glass. In small text, it says advanced. If I click on that, I'm going to see that it has all of my additional options to search in RPR. So kind of like the MLS, you're not going to be able to go in as deep as you would on Paragon, but you do have a couple of different options here when running this search on RPR. So for the sake of this webinar though, we're going to just keep it simple, and I'm just going to put in here, since I'm located in Montrose, I know Montrose, and that's probably about it. I mean, I know a little bit about Delta and Gunnison and those areas, but Montrose is where I reside, so I kind of know. So all I'm doing is just putting in Montrose County, Colorado, and I'm going to hit the little search button here. So this is what it gives me. It gives me my map at the top, lets me have access to being able to scroll on this map and see some of the listings on my map view. I can scroll in and out using this little plus and minus up in the top left-hand corner. If I wanted to, I could clear out this little, because I put in Montrose County, so the map automatically hits that county with an outline or what it thinks that you're looking for. You can also draw your own shape up here too, if you want. You guys can create your own little outline and see all the properties in there. So the map, you can use that. You can, do a couple of different drop-down options here on the map if you'd like to. You can show counties, you can show zip codes, stuff like that. So you guys can use that map to give you a couple of different little starting points there. So now if I scroll down a little bit, you're going to see in the list view all of my different listings here in the middle. So this kind of breaks down into 3 different columns. On the left, you have your search criteria. So if you want to change that, you can change it to see, pending and active, or just pending, or just active. You can do a couple of other options here. So on the left-hand side, you're just going to be looking at your search criteria. So 3 columns in the middle, 1 on the left is going to be your search criteria. You can modify that at any time and hit apply, and it will update your search on the list view, and it will update it on the map. Okay. In the middle column is going to be your results. So you guys can scroll down and you'll see all of your different listings here. If I hit next, it's just going to bring up the next results. So I have a ton of listings here, unfortunately. So I didn't break it down. So that's what, that's what I get for not defining my search a little bit more. And so, but this is the middle column is going to be all of your listings in your search results. And then over to the right is kind of like a Montrose County report. You have your median estimated home value, 12-month change, median listing sale price, median public sales price, and so on. You can do more about this neighborhood, and it will bring up more stats, but this is kind of just a little overview. If you want to know more about it, you can click down on this little button over here, and it will tell you what this means. So a lot of information just from that search result page, a lot of stuff that you guys can actively do when you're running a search on RPR. If I click on one of the listings, it's going to take me to that property detail page, and you're going to see all this different criteria and all the different information on the listing. So up at the top, it kind of gives you the list price, the RVM, which is their valuation model. So that's kind of their estimation of what the price should be, or what it would sell for, or however they go on with that. If you want to learn more about their RVM, you can click on view details, and it will give you a little bit more information on that. I don't really have time. I'm going to already be going crazy through this trying to get everything shown to you guys. So you guys can click on that view details to learn more about that. Basic facts right there. Over to the right, you have the listing agents, historical records for this property. Again, the county report, And then if I keep on scrolling down a little bit more, I'm going to see all of the different information on that property. A couple of different, stats for the median estimated home value, price change history. I mean, so just like the MLS, just like you would be doing in Paragon, you have all this information available to you while using RPR. And you guys can go back and then, go back to your search, and you can favorite some of these so you don't have to go back to them. So if I hit this little star, let's save it in my account and I can go back to it. So this is just another way to look at these listings and see more of a broader overview of what's going on around that listing. So not only do you get the listing details, but you get all the neighborhood information. You get all the public tax records that have like the sale history and the price change history and all that stuff like that is going to be available to you on RPR right here. And again, I'm only touching the surface with it on this webinar since it's only 30 minutes. This could definitely go into an hour or 2-hour webinar even. So I hope that I'm going to show you guys just enough for you guys can get dangerous and start using it. It will probably be more of a one-on-one webinar if you want to set that up with me, if we want to go more in depth and try to go over like little training. So hopefully I can show you guys today though some of the main features and how to get in there and how to use this system or this program when you're in Paragon or if you're out and about in the field. So if you guys want more training on this, definitely let me know. And we'll set up another webinar or something like that to get you more trained. So I wanted to show you the search. So that's kind of the basics of the search on RPR. You can search by zip code, county, address, MLS ID number, anything like that. And this is going to be your search result page. Again, you have the map at the top. Scroll down below the map, you have 3 main columns. On the left is going to be your search criteria. In the middle is going to be your search results, and on the right is going to be your like neighborhood report type of situation that gives you basic information on that county or wherever the area is that listing is located or your search is located. So I want to show you guys the CMA report kind of side of RPR. I kind of use Realist in hand with this. What I mean that is you guys can look for the address in here. So if you have your address of the property that you want to do a CMA on, just type the address right here in the search box and it will take you to it. If you want to find a different property like me, I just go to Realist and I go plug in, in a house that I find from Realist, and I copy that address and I paste it over here. And then I find that property on here and then I create the CMA using it that way. So however you guys do it, basically you just want to find the address of the listing that you want to do a CMA on for. So I already kind of did this beforehand so that we could speed up the webinar. So I went ahead and just pulled an address from a random address off of Realist and I punched it into RPR. And I have it right here, which is going to be 1724 Capitol Court, Montrose, Colorado. So what I want to do is, actually, it's probably not going to work here because I've already done a report for that. So let's see if we can go ahead and create another report. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So we're going to do this one. I just randomly selected this house. You guys will get to the property page. So when you guys are searching for an address, it's going to take you to this, kind of like where we were before when I clicked on one of those listings when I was doing a search. This is what you see. I was talking about the RVM. Well, right next to it is going to be, you might not see the refine. If you don't see that, you're going to see create. But that's the one we're looking for, is this create button. So I punch in create, or I click on create, and it's going to start the CMA process for me. So 2 steps: find the property that you want to create the CMA on, search for it on RPR, get to the property page, and hit this little blue button here that says create. Okay, so I'm just going to tap on that, and it's going to give me 2 options. What do I want to do? Do I want to do a comparative analysis or a sales comparison analysis? Excuse me for, I'm not a realtor. I know how to use these programs, You guys know the more in depth on what goes into these and how you're supposed to present them and everything like that. From what I understand, I can't really give you a clear definition on what the difference is between the comparative analysis and the sales comparison analysis. But from what I do know is the sales comparison analysis is much more in depth. So if you guys want to learn more, you do have this what's the difference button here, and then RPR will walk you through it and give you the differences. The biggest thing that I took away from it is sales comparison analysis goes in much more detail for like the adjustments and the property details to really define that price for that property so that you can find the more in-depth comparables. Comparative analysis, I think, is just kind of, you want to get something out quick. You're not worried about the more in-depth. You just want to get those price ranges, those different comparables on there. So you guys have the choice to do whichever one you want. I'm going to show you guys the sales comparison analysis just because it is more in-depth, and I want to make sure you guys know how to use that one. The comparative one is going to be just the same process, just a little bit less in-depth. So right when I click on the sales comparative analysis, it gives me this pop-up. This is only if you're an appraiser. So if you're not an appraiser or anything like that, just say skip this step. So now I have basically 5 steps here. So the first step is going to be confirm the home facts. All right. So as you move through these steps, this little blue button will highlight over here to the right. So I go to confirm facts. So now you'll see all of my different adjustments that I can make to this subject property just to confirm that everything is accurate. So if you come on here and something is different and your seller wants you to update this, or you need to update something, you guys can come over here and make these changes to all of these different fields to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. I'm not going to go through all of these just because that would take up a lot of time and I might be moving too fast already, so it's just kind of hard. I want to show you guys how to use this, but I don't want to go too fast that you can't retain anything. So I figure if I show you this, show you where and how to edit this, you guys can come in here and play around with that. Okay, so this is going to be your adjustments to your subject property. Once I'm done, down at the bottom it says confirm facts and close. I go ahead and select that. And now again, you see my confirmed little check mark. So step 1 has been completed. I can come back and edit this at any point if I want to by just clicking on this blue edit button. So step 2 is search for comps. You guys may have noticed in Paragon when you're doing a CMA that it's all a manual process. So you have to find those comparable properties manually. One of the greatest things about RPR and Realist actually is that RPR will find those comps for you, and then you can dissect them and see which ones you don't want to put in there. And you can also find them manually. So it's you can do both, either or. It's really nice to have that option. So step 2, my blue box lights up, find comps. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and voila, I get a pop-up. And might seem like a little bit busy here, but it's pretty simple. On the left-hand side is just all your search criteria, and then in the middle is going to be your map. And when you hit search, all your listings will be below here. So you guys can come through here, set your criteria for what you want RPR to search for those comps for. So if you just want to see the sold comparables, then just highlight sold. If you want to see all 3, definitely just check whichever ones you really want. And then if I scroll down a little bit, you have your date range. So if you wanted to see them in the last 12 months instead of 6, you can choose a custom date range. You guys can do proximity. Do I want it to just be 1 mile? So it gives you a little bit of an outline here of where that is. So 1 mile, 2 miles. So you can see how that expands it, and it will only search for comparables within that radius that you choose here if you put a radius there. Beds, baths, and so on. Again, I don't have time to go just through all of this and try to find the distinct comparables because I know nothing about this property. I don't really know what it entiles to create that CMA. I know how to get you to the program, to how you can create them, but I'm not much help when telling you what should go in and what should, not be there and everything like that. So hopefully this gets you started. anyways, I set up all my information on the left-hand side. I'm going to hit search down here at the bottom. And now my listings populate in 2 places, on the map and down below in the little list view. So I can, click on these properties up here, or I can use the list down here, which is a little bit easier for me, I feel like, to just use the list. You guys can come through here and just see the basic details, and then select the ones that you want. So you guys can just click on this little checkbox next to add to comps list, and it's going to give you your little sidebar here, which ones you select. Then it gives me a range based on my comps. So again, you guys will have, I don't know all this stuff. So you guys will have to, define all this stuff accordingly. I don't know if I picked any comps that would be usable in this situation. So you guys would probably be better off going through these and actually diving into them. If you want to see the property, you can click on it and it's going to open it up in a new page. So if you guys need a little bit more details on that before you decide to use it, just click on the address there and it's going to take you to a new tab that has that property information there. So information. Okay, so I selected 6 of them and say I'm going to be good to go with that. I'm going to hit update valuation and close over here to the bottom right, or it's on the top. So update valuation and close. So I have my 6 comps. My range is 130 to 285. Again, your guys is probably going to be a little bit different because you guys will know what you're doing when selecting those comps. So that is done. My 3rd step is make my adjustments. So just like you made adjustments in the first step to the subject property, step 3 is making adjustments to the comparables to match that subject property. That's one thing I do know about CMAs is you never want to change the subject property. You always want to change the comparables. So if you guys didn't know that already, that's your little tidbit. Make adjustments when you're doing, you always want to basically set them to go to the subject property, not the subject property to match the comparables. So I know you can in here, but I mean, in Paragon, when you're doing the CMA, it doesn't really let you do the subject property. So just difference in different programs, but I mean, maybe I am wrong, but who knows? Back on track. Comparables. So now you're making adjustments to your comparable properties. So your subject property will always stay over here to the left. Your comparables will be over here to the right. So I'm only showing 3 here, but I had 6 selected. So I can just hit my little next button in the top right-hand corner, and it will switch between those comparable properties. You guys can reorder these up here at the top. You can go, I want this one second instead of first. So now it just switches it over and so on. So you guys can take the listing information from the MLS, or you can do it from the public record. So if you guys see any any differences between the MLS and the public tax record, you can decide what information you want to use for that comparable property. So now you're just going to kind of go through these and make adjustments. So it says the facts on the comparable property, bedrooms, baths. If you guys need to add anything, just add it over here and it will adjust the price accordingly. And you guys will just do that with your comparable properties. All the way at the bottom, you'll then have an option here to do notes, or you guys can do these little weightings. So if you guys have one property that you're like, hey, this one is probably the most comparable to that one, I can go ahead and weight this one to where it's a little bit more percentage-wise towards the subject property. So you have all these different percentages, which will equal up to 100. So if you want to change one of these and say this one's, it's about 50%. So let's go ahead and let them know that this one's the most, comparable. But anyways, you guys can go ahead and change those, weight percentages there at the bottom. Kind of a little cool little tidbit that I found that I really like is view adjustments in a graph. So I can see where my subject property is, and I can see where all the other comparables are. So looks like this one's actually right in the middle of these. So I don't know if that's a good job or a bad job by me, but that one ended up right. My subject property ended up right in the middle of all my comparables. So there's just little things that you can do on here that will give you different, insights or different, reports or graphs like that. Kind of give you a better idea of where you are when you're doing this CMA. So I'm done down at so I just hit the little save and close. And now I have everything done here and I can create my report. These reports are very extensive. They have, the one that I did earlier was like 57 pages, so they really do have a lot of information in here. You guys can choose what report to send though. Automatically it's saying you should do the valuation workbook, but if you wanted to do a different one, you definitely can. You can view all the samples of these reports right here. So it says show samples. So I can click on that and it's going to give me a little box of what it's going to look like. So you don't have to waste your time downloading and finding the right report. You guys can just preview the sample of all these reports that you want. If you guys find that it's more extensive than you need it to be, you can click on this more details and you can choose what pages to include. If you guys don't know what these pages are, just hover over this little eye and it's going to give you a little snapshot of that page and what it is. Okay. So again, I'm going through this really quick. It's really fast. It's really in depth. There's a lot of stuff in RPR. I covered 30 minutes of it, but there's just not enough time for me to spit it out at you guys and let you know everything. But hopefully this gets you started. Like I said, you guys can come through here and see all the details on all these reports. You guys can customize these reports, and when you're done, you kind of just scroll to the very bottom method. So if you guys want to enter a name and then put in the message, you guys can do that. And then number 4 is 2 options. Do you want to display it now, which will let you download it as a PDF, or do you want to email it to yourself and then open it later? So you guys can do both of those options. It does take a minute for it to download. Again, it's like a 57-page report, so it is going to take a minute for them to either get the preview for you to download or to get you to email it off. So give it a couple of minutes there. It will be sent to you or it will be downloaded once you choose that option, and then hit run report and you are good to go. Okay, so sorry if I was a little bit too quick through here, but again, like I said earlier, if you guys want to set up more training on this, definitely reach out to me. I'm sure we can make a time work that I can, spend 30 or 45 more minutes on this to go over a little bit slower or go over some stuff that I may have missed. And again, if you guys want to learn this on your own, this resource on the homepage of Paragon where it says learn to use RPR is going to be a great resource for you guys to start with. If you guys have any questions and you guys want to get started on this, come over here and it will give you pretty much everything that I just covered and more. So definitely use that on the homepage of Paragon. Again, learn to use RPR. I have a couple of minutes to stay on the line with you guys. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy days to join me on these lunch and learns. As long as I get people, we will still be doing these every week, same day, same time. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Stay safe and healthy out there. And if you guys have any questions right now, I have a couple of minutes. Okay. Not a problem. I know you guys are busy out there, so thanks for joining me. I hope I'll see you next week. And if you need anything, you know where to find me. No problem. Okay. I do not see any chats or any questions coming through, so I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you next week, hopefully. Stay safe and healthy out there.